Carla Cannon, and this is going to be an inside look and review of IEW's Structure and Style for Students Level A. I was homeschooled myself all the way through grade 12 and then went to university and got my teaching degree. I taught for many years in the schools, and now I'm fortunate enough to work with homeschoolers here in Alberta, Canada, through one of the local school boards, and best of all, homeschool my own 3 children, ranging in age from early elementary through middle school. We have been using IEW for over 3 years now, and I just can't wait to share with you my thoughts on this newest product. Since this is going to be a little longer video, if you go ahead and peek down in the description, I broke it into sections in case you want to jump around. So I'm going to give you a peek into the structure of the actual program and the teacher's manual. Then we're going to look in depth at the student binder and assignments. I'm going to then suggest a couple ways you could modify the speed in which you do this program, as well at the very end talk about my overall thoughts. If you are looking for specific information on what package might be a good fit for your family and my thoughts on the parent instructional DVDs, teaching writing with structure and style, then you can also click on the link below for a separate video I did on that one. As I mentioned, we have used IEW for quite a while now, so I was really impressed with this new product. It is a huge improvement from their student writing intensives in just the ease of use for both the parent and the teacher, and how well it is laid out. In a package, the basic package, you get your student binder. We opted for the forever streaming option. It just works better for our family because we're not messing with DVDs and my kids can access it from their iPads. And then it comes with your teacher's manual. So for the level A, they say kind of the grade range approximately is grades 3 to 5. But based upon my experience with homeschoolers and working with my own kids, I would really say that this program is better suited for kids starting in 5th grade. Of course, there's variances and every child is ready for things at a different pace, but this is a really excellent in-depth program, and I think younger children in that grade 3-4 range would be better suited for the Bible Heroes. It's a super program that is just right on target for kids who are a little bit younger. So I have been doing this with my son who is in 5th grade, and it is just a great level. And also for kids who, if you have a reluctant writer or writing is overwhelming, you could easily use this with a 6th, 7th, even a reluctant 8th grader. You could get a lot out of this. So the way that it's set up is in the student binder. You get your student binder and you'll get a packet of loose leaf pages, which you go ahead and actually just put in the back. And then as they go through the DVD lessons, they take the pages and are instructed in the DVD where to place them in the various tabs. So it's very well laid out, very organized, which speaks to my type A soul. So I like that. And then the teacher's manual is just excellent as well. So in the teacher's manual, you have pages that mirror all the student pages, as well as give you additional notes, instruction, and you could really set this up to be an independent program for your student, where they, on a Monday, they watch the first part of the DVD, on Tuesday, they watch the second part, and then the assignments are clearly laid out. And you have that in both the parent book and the student binder, so it could really be an independent program. Although I personally feel like if you want to put the time into getting involved, you and your child are going to get the most out of this if you were to watch either the training videos as a parent and do those on your own, Or if that doesn't work for you, you could easily get a ton out of it by watching or at least listening in the background to the DVD lessons, because the investment of time will really enable you to help your student with their assignments and just know how to teach writing. I have learned so much from this program, and I have a background in writing in English. So it's excellent. So like I said, it is spread out for 24 weeks, which you could easily expand. They have in the teacher book here, you can see that they refer to the teaching writing with style and structure, the parent training videos. So they say what to watch there, which is a nice touch. And then it just gives you a breakdown of what the student is supposed to do, as well as very nicely has whatever they do on the board in the DVD lesson. You have the board notes, which I think is lovely. And then in the back, it gives you what your child is supposed to do to organize their binder that week. So you can help them keep track of all the papers and assignments and where they go. So they have at the end of every lesson, or week's worth of lessons, they have the organize your binder section, as well as the homework section, which is what your child's writing assignments are. So very easy to use, very open and go, and well laid out. As I said, the program is very well laid out and organized. I love it. So each lesson, each week, starts out with a DVD segment where Mr. Purua teaches. And these segments last anywhere from 25 to 50 minutes for some of the longer ones. And it is structured that you would do them kind of on day 1 and day 2. And then in your student binder, you have this whole week at a glance, which is really nice, and it is mirrored with notes for the parent in the parent binder. So it tells you, exactly what to watch on the DVD that has clear starting and stopping points, which is a huge improvement from what was the previous SWI. So that's great. So clear starting and stopping points. So on day 1, you watch the DVD and then the assignments that go along with it. Day 2, you watch part 2 of the DVD, and then it outlines what they should be doing for days 3 and day 4. It also comes with nice charts within the binder for the different units. So those are a nice addition as well. And like I said, all of that is also in the teacher manual. So you have your DVD lessons, your week at a glance, and the first weeks 1 through 5 is where they cover units 1 and 2, whereas reading a source text and then learning to take notes in what they call the keyword outline. And then that is the basis of IEW. Then your child writes from the keyword outline. Week 6 is where they move into Unit 3, where they learn how to write stories using the story sequence chart. Up until week 6, they've been writing about a paragraph per week, and that I think is a good amount. Starting in week 6, they have the same format, of course, with the DVD lesson, the week at a glance. But the biggest difference starting here is that now the assignment for a week is 3 paragraphs. And so at the end, I'll give you some ideas on how I think you could modify that. But just know that really for most 9, 10-year-olds, especially those boys who are perhaps more reluctant, 3 paragraphs is really too much for a lot of kids in a week. So I'll give you some ideas on how you can make that a little bit better paced for those kids who would find that too much. But anyway, so that is, they're learning to write stories. So the story this week is King Midas. And so that's the length of the source text now that they build their 3 paragraphs off of. And then at the end of each week or each lesson, they have, for every assignment, this really excellent checklist. And so the beauty of this is that students, as you move through the lessons, they learn how to not only structure their writing, but to add style to it with different dress ups. So they learn, adverbs, who, which clause, all kinds of things. And so this is really beneficial for the students to know what elements they need to add to their paragraphs or story. So that is kind of the bonus for them. And then it's great as a teacher because as you go through, or a parent, as you go through and read what they've written, then you can go off and check whether they've included that element or not. In the past, they have had this as a point system. Now it's just either complete because it's included or incomplete. And I think that's better because either they have it in or they don't. So these are for every assignment, which are really nice. So this was week 6. And then you can see, jumping ahead to week 8, we're still on the story sequence chart, and it is getting longer. So the assignments do definitely increase in length. And so keep that in mind as you are deciding on, whether the program is a good fit for your child. Can they read that? And is that an appropriate length of assignment for them? So just good things to keep in mind. So that takes you, like I said, that is unit 3, where they're learning the story sequence chart. So week 9 is where they move to unit 4, which is learning to make a keyword outline from a source text that has way more information than they've had up until this point. So it's kind of laying that foundation for learning how to write paragraphs and then move into reports with sources that have more information than you need to include in your writing. So you will see here that, same thing where you have your week at a glance, which is of course mirrored in the teacher book. And then you can see, once again, this is the length. So this side and that side, that is the length of the source text that they'll be summarizing on Antarctica. And to get an idea of the things that they'll be expected to include in their writing, here is the checklist for week 11. So it does increase in length, and it builds, good foundation for that beginning of report writing. Week 13 is where they move into unit 5, which is writing, it's using that story sequence chart that they learned in the 3rd unit. But now, instead of having a source text, which they're using to make their keyword outline, they have pictures that are given as prompts. So this is unit 5, and that is how they go ahead and make their keyword outline before they write their 3 paragraphs. They also include more banned words, that the students are not to use words that are, dull or boring, repetitive. They learn not to use that. And here's a peek at the checklist at this point. In week 18, your child moves into unit 6, which is learning to take notes and summarize multiple references. So you'll have more than one article on a topic, and then they have to pick and choose what facts are the most important or interesting to them and make separate keyword outlines, and then learn how to fuse that into an outline that they can write from. So just to see here, you can see the amount for this week is a lot more. I would personally, definitely break this up into more than one week. And so that is their week at a glance. And then to give you an idea, the articles are increasing in length. So you've got that. These articles are really well written and they're interesting, but they are longer. So just keep that in mind. And then you can see here the checklist for what they need to include at this point. In week 20, it takes you into unit 7, which is called Inventive Writing. This is the unit where they take all these models of structure and then learn how to create the keyword outline without a source text and ask themselves questions to help fill that out and avoid that frozen blank, I don't know what to write scenario that a lot of our students face. So it's a great unit, and some of the assignments are that they write about a person that they know, they learn how to write a letter, and that's kind of the gist of Unit 7. Now that you've gotten to see inside the student binder and get a feel for some of the things that they're going to be learning, the length of the assignments, which can be anywhere from 1 to 3 or more paragraphs on a couple of them, you can see why I strongly feel that this is not well suited for a child in 3rd grade. I think that, 10 is about the age that I would plan to start this with your child, and it is even appropriate for sure for students who are perhaps not confident writers or reluctant writers into grades 6, 7, even 8 for some of those boys who find this tough. So I think that this program is wonderful, and I love the layout and the ease of using it, but I have a couple ideas of how you could modify the schedule in a way that would be less overwhelming and a less amount of work for your student, because my only concern is that when you see the breakdown of days and the amount of writing that is expected of your child, I'm afraid that someone could get overwhelmed and not want to continue with the program because they or their child are feeling like it's too much and the child is resisting. So if that is the situation that you find yourself in, here are a couple ideas of how you can break it down. First of all, just do the program over 2 years. There is more than enough writing and lessons and content that you could easily spread this out over 2 years, and I think that would be a really great way to do it. The second thing that you could do if you don't want to spread it out over 2 years is that you could, instead of doing multiple assignments for each of the units, so instead of writing 3 stories for the story sequence chart and 3 stories for the writing with pictures in Unit 5, you could just have your student do 1 story, spend longer on it, take your time, help them. They could still watch the lessons, the DVD lessons, so they're not missing out on any of the instruction, but only do 1 of the writing assignments. And that may make it a little bit more manageable for your students, especially those who don't love the story writing portion. I know my kids are very analytical and they like the report writing. So we do the story sequence chart, we work our way through it because it is good, it is valuable, but we don't spend a lot of time there either. So either spread it out over 2 years, modify how many assignments they do, or if you really feel like you want them to do all of the lessons and the assignments in a year, you can help them. You can be their scribe. If, once again, I keep coming back to that 3-paragraph story sequence chart because I think that's where some people may hit a wall initially, then watch the DVD with your child, make the keyword outline, have them do it. If they're getting tired or it's too much, they could do the keyword outline for the first paragraph and then just tell you what to write down for the other paragraph's keyword outline, and then have them spend the rest of that week writing 1 paragraph. I think 1 paragraph for some of our younger students is plenty in a week. And then if you want them, when they've done that and it's the end of the week on Friday, you say, okay, let's use your keyword outline and tell me what you want me to say for these last 2 paragraphs, and then have them come up with what to say. They're still putting all that mental energy into it, and you just be their scribe. Just type it out for them, and there is still going to be a huge benefit for them, and they're still going to have ownership of that work. So just a couple ideas how you can tweak this if you find that it is too much writing for your child. And it depends greatly on the child and their personality. My kids are perfectionists. They come apple doesn't fall far from the tree there. And so that is great in that they do really quality work. I don't have to push them to do a good job on things, but it is slower process because they want it to be good and they really try, but it takes a long time. So in our house, I am fine. I know they're working hard. And so I prefer quality over quantity. If they're going to work hard and give me their best effort, I am perfectly okay that it takes them longer to do an assignment. But you may not have a child who's wired like that, and maybe they just tear through it, and writing 3 paragraphs for them in a week is nothing because they just want to get it done and they're fast. Then that's great. You can follow the schedule as is. Or, if you want to use this as a foundational program for an older child, then they absolutely could follow the schedule as it's laid out. But just know that you and your child are not failing if you cannot complete what they say in a week. The program is there to support you. And if you do it at a different pace, it is still beneficial. I would hate to see someone not use the program because they feel that they can't keep up with it. So in all the teacher training that I've done through IEW, Andrew Pudewa talks about the principle of easy plus one. What they're doing should be fairly easy plus one more thing that's a little bit harder. So only you know your child. Find that sweet spot of what they can do confidently without it being too much, and then work there. And they're going to benefit and grow. And if your child is crying and it's a fight, they're not learning. And I truly believe with writing in particular that it is better to go a little bit slower, but help our children feel confident and not hate writing. Because if you push them to the point that they hate it, you've got bigger problems. So, move at a pace, help them when they're young, and you will see them blossom as they get older and grow in confidence. My son, who does well, he was talking to his grandmother on the phone the other day, and I don't know the context, but I heard him say, "Oh yes, Mimi, I could do that. I'm a really good writer." And I have helped him so much, but it made me happy to know that that's how he views himself, and he will be more successful because he has that confidence. So to wrap this all up, what are my final thoughts on this program? Honestly, I think it's amazing. I think it is tremendous value for money. To have an expert teacher, Andrew Pudewa, basically come into your home through the DVD lessons and teach you and your child, it's huge. They will learn so much, and this will give them the foundation to be comfortable and confident in their writing. I think this is a program unlike any other one out on the market, and I've looked at a lot of them. So I think it is really well done. It's extremely user-friendly. It can be challenging to teach writing to your children. I have a background in it. I have an education degree, and still it seemed elusive. How do I break it down for my kids? How do I give them steps and first do this and then do this? And this curriculum, it does all that for you. And then the beauty of it is if you invest the money, if you invest the time into doing it, you can take what you've learned and you can apply this in every other area that your child needs to do writing for. So if you're learning about a period in history, you can have them write a paragraph, a report, a diary entry, from the point of view of a historical person. It gives you those tools, and you can really apply it to anything. And I think that is the goal, and the beauty of IEW is how it equips you and your students. And by watching the DVDs with them, if you can, you will be able to prompt them when they're in a different scenario. They have, need to write a paragraph about something, and it's a lot of information. You just say, hey, that's Unit 4, remember? Pick out the key things that are interesting and important, do your topic, do your clincher sentence, and they'll be like, oh yeah. And this is really been effective in our family. It just, my daughter, she just needs those little reminders, and now she's doing that all on her own, and I am just so pleased. I think that this is one of the most single important things that you can do for your children to give them that foundation in writing and communicating, because more than just about any other subject, that is something that they are going to be using on a daily basis as adults. You know, whether they're texting or doing a Facebook post or an email to a colleague, if they can express themselves clearly and with confidence, it is just a gift that I think they'll forever be grateful for. I hope you found this in-depth look and review to be helpful. I think that if you decide to jump in and purchase this program, you are not going to regret it. You will enjoy it. And remember, you are using the curriculum. Make it work for you. Modify it, adapt it for you and your child, and just enjoy the process because it's excellent. If you would like to learn more about the 9 units that IEW uses, you can go to my channel, and will be making a video on that, as well as another video I'm going to make on what package might be a good fit for you, because there are 3 to choose from. Also, if you want to help me out, you can click on the link below in the description that will take you right to the page for this product. IEW was nice enough. I called them and they sent it to me to do an honest review. So this is completely my own opinion. I reached out to them because I knew I would love it. But if you click on the link, it just helps them know that you found this helpful so that they can continue to send me products as they make them, and I can continue to look into them and use them and give you my honest feedback on them. So thanks so much for watching, and take care. Bye-bye.